Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Moondrop Kato, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. Moondrop Kato has a pretty standard unboxing experience, but it is pleasing and does make you feel like, hey, you're getting your money's worth out of it. On the backside, you've got some specs, and it says that it's KXS Advanced Technology Optimized. I have not heard the KXSS, so I will not be giving a comparison to it. The Moondrop Kato comes with several different accessories, and you're going to get two little carrying bags. You're going to get a small one for your cable, and you're going to get this nice leather one with a little bit of blue and gray, and it has a magnetic snap on it. Stays very secure. IEMs fit in there just perfectly. Then you're also going to get your spare cable and this little tin, which is a nice touch. There's your spare cable. I really do enjoy that you get a second cable, and it's a very well-built cable. You're also going to get a little case of tips. These are the new tips, the spring tips from Moondrop, and the silicones are very nice. I really do enjoy these a whole lot. They're kind of spongy, small, and I really do enjoy the fit of them. They fit my ears perfectly. I used the silicone ones. You also get some foam tips, which I did not use. The only tips that I used with the Kato, believe it or not, were the stock tips. You're also going to get some different nozzle filters. And this is on this nice little carrying plate. And the stock ones are silver or steel. And the replacement one is brass. And instead of just being the very top filter that a lot of IEM makers do, this is the full nozzle, so it is a lot easier to hold, and they just screw on very easily. Then you get your IEMs. Make sure that you have a cleaning cloth handy, because these things are fingerprint magnets. These, it doesn't matter, you can just look at them and they're going to get dirty, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And they have a somewhat unique design to them. If you look really carefully, you can kind of see the different shapes that are built into it. I really do enjoy the look of the Kato. It's really hard to see on camera, but there is a little bit of branding on it. It does say Kato right here. There's your angle, and that nozzle just spins off. And then it just spins right on. All right, before we get into sound descriptions, let's talk a little bit about this cable. This cable is fabulous. It's nice and thick, quality built. I really enjoy this cable. This is probably one of the nicest stock cables, and the fact that they include a second one is just fantastic. Moondrop went above and beyond with this cable. This thing is exceptional. And comfort-wise, they're okay. They're not the most comfortable IEM. They're not the most uncomfortable IEM. I can wear them for about an hour to 2 hours, and then I get a little bit of discomfort, have to take a rest from them. But overall, as far as fitting in the ear, they fit my ears just fine. They just a little bit of, they're a little bit heavy and just a little odd shaped. But other than that, I have no problems with comfort. As I said, about an hour to 2 hours. Take a little break, put them back in, resume. Filters. The brass filters do make a difference. It's very subtle. I preferred the silver filter, and the differences are that the brass filter adds a little bit more body, and it kind of mellows out the sound a little bit. Things are a little bit more softer, a little bit more warm and just lush sounding, and it just sounds a little bit more laid back. Whereas with the steel silver filter, that brings in a little bit of energy and gives a little bit more air to the sound. Overall, I like both of them. I can listen with both, and they're both very pleasing, but I do prefer the silver steel. All right, sound wise. For a single dynamic driver that is 10 millimeters in size, the Kato is phenomenal. Moondrop has done a great job with the tuning, and also they have made them very easy to drive, being 32 ohms and 103 decibels of sensitivity, and they've given them a frequency response of 10 hertz to 45 kilohertz. And I find that overall they are extremely easy to power, and they just sound fantastic. Speaking of power and what I used all kinds of different DAPs. I used a little Heidi's AP80 Pro, the Sony NWA105, the Sony NWWM1A, also desktop setups with the Mytek Liberty, and I did run them on the one linear, and also the Sauvage A10H and the Headamp GSX Mini. And these things sounded great on all of them. They don't take a whole lot of power. They're not really that picky, and they do scale decently with better gear, but you're not going to get this like insanely crazy different sound when you swap sources. This thing is very happy on whatever you play it on. Bass-wise, the bass of the Moondrop Kato is just crazy good. It's one of those IEMs that even though I'm not a bass head, it makes me feel like I'm a bass head, and I'm really enjoying it. It is so well controlled, it reaches down deep, it extends well, and it has amazing details and resolution and extremely good tone and timbre. These things are exceptional. Now, with that being said, since I'm not a bass head and these make me feel like a bass head, they probably won't please a real bass head. They're probably, that most bass heads would probably listen to them and go, they're okay, but they're lacking in punch and slam and what I'm looking for as far as that visceral approach to the bass. So if you're looking for details, clarity, speed, and just tonality, and resolution, and everything else in the bass, here you go, Katos. These things are crazy good when it comes to the bass, and I thoroughly enjoy them. You're not missing out on any details. You're not missing out on anything within the bass. You're going to hear it with the Kato. You're going to feel it, and they are special in the bass is the way that I would call it. I love the bass. Moving into the mids have a natural warmth to them. Vocals and instruments just have spectacular tone and timbre, and they just sound realistic. Everything has good note weight and body to them, and it removes the idea that you're listening to IEMs. It puts you in the spot, in my opinion. It allows your imagination to flow freely and go, I like this. This is what I would think this sounds like. And it has a nice cohesive balance throughout. Does not bleed in from the bass, and it does not bleed into the treble. Everything's just right where it should be, and it's just smooth and enjoyable. I really enjoy the mids of the Kato, especially with instruments of like from pianos to guitars, strings, and brass instruments really sound lifelike. And then vocalists, whether it be a male or a female, they both sound very alive and realistic. They have good note weight and body and fullness to their voice. The treble of the Moondrop Kato is very smooth. It has a little bit of a laid back signature to it. It doesn't have the most energy and sparkle of an IEM. It is very, very relaxed, but it is not boring or dark. It has just enough sparkle and energy to give you what you're looking for without being fatiguing and without sounding boring or stuffy. And it's a very well-controlled treble. Could it use just a little bit more air and just a little bit more sparkle? Yes. But in my opinion, it's not bad. And I really do enjoy the kind of the laid-back signature of the Kato. Soundstage wise, it's not the widest IEM out there, but it's not narrow either, and it's not compressed in. It's about average on width. Where the Kato really excels is in depth and layering and in imaging. And that is where the technicalities of the Kato really shine through. It does an exceptional job of telling you where everything is seated on a stage. Very precise, very accurate. It pinpoints things very well. I really enjoy the Kato for gaming, and to me it has a more natural soundstage, and so in gaming that is important because I'm not getting this huge size stage which is misleading and telling me that things aren't correctly in the right distance away from me. To me, the Kato does a good job of giving me the proper distance, and it also does a good job with depth and layering so I can hear various things on top of each other during the games. I also really enjoy watching movies and videos with the Kato, as it does an exceptional job with the layering and details within. You can hear all the different things going on within the scene, but it doesn't bury anything either. It's all right where it should be, and it just sounds accurate. To me, the accuracy, tonality, and timbre are what really sets the Kato apart in its price point, and it does an exceptional job at that. Going into some comparisons, how does it compare to its little brother, the Aria? The Aria is a lot more thin sounding, has almost a metallic hollowness when comparing it to the Kato. And in my opinion, the Kato is definitely an upgrade over the Aria in every single way. It just does things better in all aspects, whether it be bass, mids, or treble. It just has more fullness, doesn't sound as thin, and it has a better tone and timbre. Also, the soundstage does depth and layering better, even though the Aria does sound a little bit wider. And in my opinion, if you are looking to upgrade from the Aria, the Kato is probably the next step. Speaking of another sibling to the Kato, that is the Blessing 2. The Blessing 2 has a little bit leaner, thinner sound to it with the tone and timbre, but it does have a larger soundstage, does better with imaging, details, depth and layering, and resolution, but the overall more special sound is actually the Kato. The Kato has more fullness to it and bigger body and better tone and timbre. The IEM that is very similar in sound is actually the C Audio Ume, and the Ume has very good tonal balance, and the Kato also has very good tonal balance. But the difference is the Kato, in my opinion, is more detailed and does a better job with resolution, and also is more controlled in the bass and in the treble. And then comparing it to the 7 Hz Timeless. The 7 Hz Timeless is talk about too close to call. One or the other, they're both exceptional. Basically, they have very similar bass and similar mids. The Kato is a little bit more full in that area and does have slightly better tone and timbre, but the difference is the Timeless has more energy in the treble and is a little bit more airy in its presentation throughout, whereas the Kato is just more big body and is more, in my opinion, the more pleasing sound of the two, whereas the Timeless is a little bit more technical of the two. Overall, I really enjoy the Kato, and I find that the Kato is a all-arounder that plays with all genres of music and is just exceptional in everything that it does. I had no problems playing any of my songs. I did not find myself skipping around and looking for a genre that it played well with. The Kato plays well with everything, and I am truly in love with the Moondrop Kato. Highly recommend it. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen is a subscription link and notification bells. If you haven't already, check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video and comment down below. Also, don't forget to check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information regarding tier lists and gear recommendations and affiliate links and how you can support the channel with Patreon and PayPal and all kinds of good stuff. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching. Remember to enjoy the music, and honesty is the best policy.